Yo, my fellow peeps and sheeps, it's your boy Orange King 1123, and let's start the year off right with something new. I've been thinking about doing this for a while. There's a lot of games out there that have like daily challenges. I'll flash a few on screen so you know what I'm talking about. It's basically where the game gives you something unique, something you're not very familiar with, just to see if you can make it to the objective by the end of that day, of course. And I was thinking, why doesn't Rimworld have that? I mean, for obvious reasons, we can't do a daily challenge. But then they got me thinking, well, maybe not a daily, but what about a weekly challenge? And I was like, weekly? That doesn't have the same ring to it. So I was like, what's something Rimworld-esque? So I was like, a Quadrum challenge. Quadrum in Rimworld is basically like a 15-day period at which the seasons take place. So if you're moving from one season to the next, it takes 15 days for it to go through. And I was like, that's perfect. That's perfect. And then I was like, all right, who better to do it with than the Rimworld community? They like trying out new stuff. So that's where we are today. So this video is basically me just setting up the challenge, and then I'm gonna play Rimworld basically every day in this 15-day period, and I'm gonna record, maybe even stream a little. And I just wanted to invite you all to join in on this challenge, this Stanger Things Quadrum challenge of sorts. And yeah, I'm just gonna break down I'm going to break down the scenario edits that I went with to go ahead and create this challenge. This is just a setup video, so it might be a little boring and not have as much, it's not going to be very gameplay oriented. It's more so just setup. So, yeah, once again, I thank you guys for clicking this video. It means a lot to me, and hopefully you join in on this Quadrum challenge and we have a good time. And hopefully by the 15th of January, we'll see whether or not I can make it to this objective I make up for myself. How about that? Alright, let's get started. Alrighty, so first things first, we're going to start off with the mods. No custom scenario can be complete without going through and getting new mods for it. So, for this challenge, here are the things you're going to need for it. You can just follow along. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly, okay? DLC is optional, except you will need anomaly for this Quadrum challenge. All other DLC is optional, but anomaly is necessary for this Quadrum challenge. Alright, so I always rock with Camera Plus. It just makes it easier for me. Interaction bubbles, Rim HUD, snap out, simple sidearms, pick up and haul, not my fault, do your effing research, more vanilla textures, expanded prosthetics, and organ engineering. This one is very important. This is going to let us create our characters. So EDP, prepare carefully. Very important for this one. And just some other basic stuff. Vanilla expanded framework. This one's also important. Vanilla sidecast expanded. Vanilla sidecast Hemo Sage. Vanilla sidecast expanded puppeteer, floor drawings, and replace stuff. And those are the mods we're gonna be going with for this challenge. I guess because we are going with sidecast, you will also need the royalty DLC. So the only DLC that you'll probably need for this challenge would be royalty and anomaly for sure, but the rest will be optional. Alright, for the scenario, we're going to do a custom scenario. So you're going to want to go ahead and select the anomaly, and then you're going to click scenario editor and go to edit mode. And from here, we're not changing too much, except, okay, I'm lying. We're going to change quite a bit, so bear with me. We're going to change the amount of starting people to 6. And we're going to get rid of the forced health condition. Boo. Alright. We're gonna go down to textbook, increase it to 4. For tomes, we're gonna change it to 3. And my reasoning for that is that the kids were nerds and they were very well read and researched when it comes to like D&D, which kind of helped them to translate what was happening in the real world, you know what I mean? So from there we're going to change nothing. All right, and we're gonna leave that as is. Everything else is gonna stay the same. We're gonna start adding a few things. We're going to start with, I know it's gonna bring up, okay, we're gonna go ahead, go to add part, go to start with, and it's gonna bring up a big menu of every item in the game. I know it's gonna be very what's the word, overwhelming. I wish that they create like a search feature the same way they did in game, where you could just like type the letter Z and search what you want, but they don't have it there yet. So for now we gotta search through it, and I know it might be a little confusing, but bear with me. Bear with me. So you're gonna go ahead and select spear. Spear. Just steel default, and we're also gonna add. We're gonna make 2 spears, and we're going to also start with. That's what we're gonna start with. What else are we gonna start with? They have spears, they have knives, they have a shotgun, pistol. Alright. So we're gonna start with default, 3 default auto pistols. Yeah, I think that's about it. So, only thing we're really changing for the anomaly scenario editor is I'm gonna change all this around. We're gonna change that. We're gonna change. So the only thing we're really changing from the anomaly start, other than the summary description and such, is the amount of starting people. We're gonna change that to 6. We're going to get rid of the forced health condition. We're changing nothing else from here. Textbooks we're gonna increase to 4. Tomes we're gonna increase to 3. We're gonna have 1 pump shotgun, 1 steel knife, 2 turn packs as default, and then we go all the way down. We're gonna give us 2 steel spears, as well as 3 auto pistols, and that'll be that. All right, and for our AI storyteller, we're gonna go along with Cassandra Classic, and you could go ahead and select any difficulty you want. For me personally, I'm gonna go ahead and choose Blood and Dust, because that's the one I have the most kind of fun to challenge ratio with. But like I said, this is just a challenge, but you can choose any difficulty you want. All that matters is you meet the objective by the end of the 15 days. And I know I said before that you should do reload anytime, but we're gonna go ahead and keep it with the challenge and go ahead and select commitment mode. For the world, you don't have to change anything, but we're just gonna keep it default. And I just like playing with globe coverage 100% because it's just more role-playing-esque for me. Location-wise, you can choose wherever you would like. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a difference. Whatever location you feel like would give you the best chance to make it through this challenge, then take your pick. I usually just go with the 1, 2, 3 click. But my third one was Ice Sheet, which is one of the most difficult places, so we're not doing that. Alright, there we go. I think that might be a better start for me. Alright. If you have Ideology DLC, for this part, I would say go ahead and just keep it inactive. I don't believe it'll play much of a beneficial role for the challenge, but that's to each their own. If you feel like you want to make it a little bit more difficult for yourself, you can do so. I am gonna go ahead and leave it inactive. Alright, and now when you get to the create character screen, we're going to on the bottom left hand, if you downloaded the correct mod, you should see a prepare carefully button. Go ahead and select that, and we're gonna go ahead and customize our characters. I'm gonna display them on screen with their stats and such like that I believe the cast would have. So let's go ahead and snap forward to that. Alright, and for our characters, I basically aged all the main cast up to 21 years old, and I gave them stats that I feel went along with how they were as kids and what I believe they would be in the future. Mind you, this was before the finale dropped, so if I got a few things wrong, don't yell at me for it. Just yeah. And also no spoilers in the comments below, please. No spoilers for those who haven't checked it out, even though you had like a long time to check it out. Let me do that. Starting off with Jane Hopper, otherwise known as 11 or L. First thing I gave her was psychic abilities. Of course, she has blinding pulse, burden, long jump, neural heat dump, stun, and vertigo pulse. She displayed these abilities in the show, so I thought it'd be nice to let her have it right off the bat. I know you might think, hey, that'll make her a little OP, but anomaly start is already difficult as it is, so this will just give us a little survivability. For her backstory, I basically went along with lab-grown child in adulthood. I feel like she'd be a sheriff, take after Hopper, maybe use her psychic powers to, save people and such like that. For traits, I went along and gave her psychically sensitive. I gave her void fascination as well as nimble. For skills, I gave her 2 flames for melee. Why did I do that actually? Oh, I gave her 2 flames for melee because she was training in the final season a lot, so I feel as though that'd make her a bit more athletic, a little stronger and such like that. And I also gave her 1 passion for crafting and 1 passion for like intellectual. Alright, next up we got Maxine Mayfield, otherwise known as Max or Mad Max. So for her, I didn't really do too much. I gave her rebellious student for her childhood background, and for adulthood, I felt like graphic designer would fit, but I'm not too sure of how that would end up. It just I felt like she had that artsy vibe, and she was very what's the word? Somewhat crafty a little bit. For her traits, I gave her Iron Willed and I gave her Tough. I gave her Iron Will due to the fact that even when she's in the coma, she's still, spoiler alert, she's still surviving in the upside down or Vecna mindscape. So while being able to retain her own individual self, I felt that would give her these 2 traits as Iron Willed and Tough. I gave her 1 passion for melee. I gave her 2 passions for artistic and 1 social. And most of her stats are pretty just basic familiarity. Alright, next up we got Lucas Sinclair. For his childhood, I went ahead and gave him Free Thinker. I know it doesn't fit in the Rimworld context, but I gave him Free Thinker because I felt as a kid he was more likely to just to go with his own ideals, even when the whole group was kind of against what he was saying. Like, he'd venture out on his own and do his own thing, even if everyone else was going a different way. And for adulthood, I went ahead and gave him Guardian. I gave him this mainly for the stats. I gave him an increase in shooting, melee, and medical, like a +4. I believe when he grew up, he'd probably take up a focus on protecting his family because he knows the dangers that are out there. So he might get into firearms, and he might be training more because he knows there's demigorgons and who knows what else dimensional beings out there. So, and as well as the +4 metal, because I feel like he'd have to take care of Max. So because of what happened to her, he'd probably pick up some knowledge on how to care for basic wound care or something like that. And yeah, well, going to his skills, I went ahead and gave him double passion for shooting. The reason it's double is because he already had an affinity to use ranged weapons. he was seen with the sling in like the earlier seasons. So I think that would translate well into his future as an adult. I gave him a single passion for melee, just due to him being an athletic individual. Single passion for medical, single passion for social, as well as intellectual. And for his traits, I went along and gave him jogger and careful shooter. I feel like that kind of fits his mojo. He's always hustling and bustling. And careful shooter because he's the rangeman of the group. And next up we got Michael Wheeler, also known as Mike Walk 'em Down Wheeler. I went ahead and gave him a childhood as dreamer. I felt that fit his whole vibe. He was the curious one, the one who always invited his friends over and was like DMing the sessions, and basically very imaginative. In his adulthood, I feel like he'd be a counselor. And the reason I say this is because I don't think he's gonna get a happy ending, and I don't want any spoilers, but I don't think he's gonna get a very happy ending at the end of the season. So I believe that after working out his own traumas, he's going to go out into the world and try to help others to face and deal with their traumas, because he went through so much as a kid. I feel like he wants to be out there and being able to help other kids. And I know the Rimworld way is saying addicts and stuff like that, but I disregard that. I think it's just more so he wants to help people, because when he was a kid, he wasn't getting the help that he needed, or you know what I mean? Like he was going through a lot, so he wanted to be there for someone who's also going through a lot. For his skills, I went along and gave him one passion in shooting, one passion in melee, one passion in medical, and a double passion in social. And that's his highest stat as well. For his traits, I went and gave him Oculist. So he has knowledge of like the dark psychic energies and such. I also gave him Joyous and Optimist. I gave him those two because out of everyone in the group, he was always the pep talker, like, oh, come on guys, let's go ahead and do this, we got this, oh, look at you, I believe in you. I don't know why I did that voice, but yeah, I think that just fits his character. Alrighty, and next up we got William Byers, otherwise known as Will. So for Will, I gave him the childhood sickly child. I think it just fits based on how he was in the upside down for so long, and then when he finally came out, he was in the hospital so much, and his mother was very protective of him. So I felt like that would just fit his vibe a little bit. And for his adulthood, I'm not sure what he would be, so I thought he'd be like a civil servant. I feel like he would try to help the neighborhood, help the community grow, and offer more how do I say this? Yeah, he would just... So, for adulthood, I feel like he would be a civil servant. I basically believe that he would join just try to help the community grow up and outwards, and just try to be involved as much as he can, because he's a very community-centric kind of individual. He likes being in a group, based on like how he interacted with his friends with the D&D sessions and such like that. So I feel like that would just go into him into adulthood. Alright, for his skills, I gave him one passion for crafting, two passions for artistic, one passion for medical, and one passion for intellectual. For his traits, I gave him, yeah, that one, because his coming out story. I gave him nimble because of how he was able to survive by himself in the upside down for so long, even despite being chased. And I also gave him disturbing. And I know you're probably thinking, why'd you give him disturbing? This dude here has been hitting people with the little neck tingles for 5 seasons. So yeah, I think some people might find what he says to be a little upsetting. I'm not sure if he'll follow him into adulthood, but just in case, I just wanted to add it along there. Give him some spice. Oh, as for his abilities, I gave him Burden, which basically just slows the target, and I gave him stunned. He did display a few powers. Hopefully that's not a big spoiler. It's not a spoiler. I mean, it came out in the most recent season. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it, some clip of it. Apologies if you got your spoiler from me. Wait, okay, let me do that again. Alright, for his abilities, spoiler alert, if you want to skip ahead to this timeline, this time, go ahead and do so. Alright, cool, everyone's gone. Alright, good. So I gave him these abilities based on what he displayed in the most recent season, since he was able to awaken some abilities after being in Vecna's control for so long. He was able to sap his powers and make them his own. I don't know if he'll still have them until adulthood if they wrap up the whole storyline, but if he does, I feel like he would still keep these ones. Alright. Next up, we got Dustin Henderson. And I went ahead and... I forgot to age him up. I went ahead and gave him Academy Student for his childhood. He was always smart. He was going to like... I forgot what they call it. Like, what was that camp he went to? Like basically it was like a summer camp for smart kids. He goes to camps like that, and I felt like he cared about his grades a lot. So for his adulthood, I feel like he'd be a human computer because he's a genius. He remembers everything. He's probably the smartest in his class, and I think it just fits him into adulthood to be a human computer. For his skills, I went ahead and gave him a double passion for construction, double for crafting, and a double for intellectual. All his other stats are pretty base, maybe even minimal. For his traits, I gave him 2 smart, as well as perfect memory. I even gave him an ability, work drive, just because of the fact of he's able to explain things very well, and when he gets a plan going, he's able to get people motivated to like carry out that plan and act it out. So that's why I gave him that. And then we just got our normal ghoul that comes with us for the anomaly. And those are our characters for this Quadrum challenge. Once again, it's your boy Orange King 1123. I thank you very much for watching this video. It means a lot to me. And hopefully you're able to join in on this challenge, and I'll see y'all in a bit. Tell me how it goes in the comment down below. I'll also be posting shorts about how the adventure's going for me. And I'm a big dummy. I forgot to tell you the objective. The objective for this Quadrum challenge is basically to meet the anomaly ending. There's already an ending for following all the research projects in anomaly, and getting through all that research, you'll reach the end game, basically. So the goal is to make it to that end game within 15 days from the post of this video. And yeah, that's about it. I'll be posting videos throughout this 15-day period, most likely in the form of shorts, just showing you where I'm at in my my progress. And I hope you guys join along, and let's start a little challenge for the Rimworld community. I think it'd be pretty fun. I'll catch you peeps and sheeps out on the rim. Peace.